Welcome everybody to another episode here at the Round Table on Chapter Chatter. Another episode on Relentless book. And I'm here with my brother Dustin. How's it going, man?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, we're doing great. I'm doing great, but we are both doing great for sure. Yeah, man. Let's jump right in. We'll chat on the pod, but want to jump right into this chapter, man. I think that like everything, this book is continuously just getting greater and greater and greater.
I love this book.
Dude, it's so good. And I can't believe that I went so long without reading this book, to be honest. The more I read it, the more I go over chapter after chapter after chapter, because I'm sticking to the chapter. I know that you've got your program, so you have to keep up with, you can move on a little bit ahead. But rereading this over and over and over, my God, there's so many nuggets in here.
There really is.
And go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, I've been thinking a lot about this chapter because it took me actually until last night to fully because there's so many good phrases and words and concepts in this specific chapter. Mm-hmm. It took me until last night when I put the audiobook on to realize this was about your instincts. I was so focused on the words and what they're saying to me that I couldn't figure out the whole concept of the chapter. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what? I'm like, what's the, like we talked about, mindset or whatever. I'm like, what is the meaning of this chapter? And I'm like, oh my God, it's instincts. You need to trust your instincts. You can't trust anything else, really. You need to trust your instincts.
Ding, 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 ding. Winner, winner.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out, but I was so focused on what the words were saying and how the phrases and stuff were going together. It didn't dawn on me. Instinct. That key word that kept popping up in there.
Well, I love that you say that because it's very similar to what he was talking about actually towards the end, right? Where you just have to trust in yourself, trust your instinct, trust that what you were reading was what you were getting out of it. You were like almost like he was saying, sometimes you try a little bit too hard or you're trying to do a little bit too much. But that's exactly what I got from the book as well, which I wrote, stop thinking and trust your instincts, trust yourself, trust your gut. That's exactly what I got from all the stories and kind of some of the things that he started talking into, which he starts talking about born bad, taught to be good. So that's kind of how he introduces it, or better yet, born relentless, taught to relent. He just, in this chapter, he does talk a little bit about Kobe, he talks a little bit about Michael, but the biggest part that I, like you said, he starts introducing and kind of giving some clarity to what cleaners, closers, and coolers do and how the way that they think. And he says it at the very, very end where he really starts, kind of draws a line between everybody. And let me see if I can find it really quick. Yes. A closer thinks to what he wants. A cleaner feels it. A closer tells his heart what he wants the outcome to be. A cleaner heart decides on its own. He never has to think about it. Total confidence in his gut. The difference is the millisecond of pause between thinking, I can do this, and not having to think anything at all. The more that I read chapter into chapter, I feel like he continuously goes back to one thing, which is stop thinking so damn much.
Yeah.
Stop trying so hard to figure all this out and just trust your instincts of what you're going to do and know that you have enough information to perform the action that you're trying to achieve. But you have to just do it. You have to go for it. And that's kind of the main thing I got from this chapter was just trust yourself. And I think he talks about a little bit about losing weight. And nobody's ever lost weight by reading a book because and there's the one part that really, really just kind of smacked me in the face, which stop waiting for somebody to tell you what to do. You already know what to do. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I feel like that connected so hard with me because a lot of the times I am waiting for somebody like, oh, you're okay to do this. Oh, you're good at this. Da, 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 da. And if the true form of relentless is knowing that you have enough confidence in yourself to do the actions that you need to do, that you have the skill and tool sets, maybe not all the way to completion, but at least to start. And then you get better as being just in that action, in that flow, to get better and better and better. Yeah, man, that's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Are you talking about the note, the undelivered note
Yes,
to Dwayne?
sir.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was honestly one of my favorite things. That was one of the first things I highlighted and remembered, and then I was telling I even sent it to my wife just randomly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's in order to have what you really want, you must first be who you really are. This chapter is just, in my opinion, it's insane. And I've read the whole book, listened to the whole book, and honestly, it's gonna get better. Which, I mean, after this chapter, I'm sure you're thinking, not 100% sure how it's gonna get better. But this one also had a little bit extra stuff, like when you talk about the thinking, like stop thinking. You know, I've being somebody that generally overthinks a lot of things. That's something that I had to kind of take back, and I'm like, okay, the more I think about things, the harder they get. But when you generally just do the first thing, your instinct, you trust your instinct and you do it, 9 times out of 10, or even 9.9, or even 10 out of 10, it works. And if it doesn't work, well, your instincts are going to help you figure out how to do it.
Right.
You know, and I've noticed myself moreover, even at work, like, you know, if people, oh man, this project, I'm like, you're overthinking it. Like, stop thinking about it. You already know the right answer. Stop. I've told myself that, you know, and same with my kids. Hey, you already know what the answer is going to be, so why? So this chapter itself was a lot. There's a lot in here that even, like, I was thinking about, just sitting there talking about, like, with my wife, thinking about things with my wife. There's stuff in here that I'm like, this chapter hits differently for me.
Well, also too, I think he kind of alluded to it, but it sounds like he's going to get into the dark side,
Yeah.
and so I'm super excited about that because that's where I feel like I operate out of. Is, negativity fuels me, and I've always found that to be true. It's not. Positive stuff is always cool, but the negative, the dark, and I don't know if that's where they're going to go. I don't honestly know. But if it is, I'm all ready for it. But I'm definitely excited to he kind of hinted at it. That's what they're going to go into. And so I'm excited to kind of learn into and go into the dark side of it. But initially for this chapter, for this session, really a lot of it just goes back to, like you said, trust what you already know, and the stuff that you don't know. I think a lot of this book too is him explaining his mentoring style, the way that he's gonna, you have to almost clear yourself, clear your mind to be able to take some of the information that he's given you, and this is just further to adding to the way that he's mentoring. He's telling you that I know that he's going to show you a specific path. He's going to show you how to navigate through certain things, but also have enough confidence and enough, readiness in the stuff that you've prepared for, that you're going to get through those things, as long as you trust yourself in what you're doing.
This was one of my favorite things. He's going over, like, about what you need to do to become unstoppable, and he's like, okay, he's like, if it sounds complicated, I'll make it simple. You have to stop thinking. It's so basic. Are you good at what you do? Maybe. Even great at what you do? Can you be the best? Yes. If you said no, I'll give you a moment to change your answer. Again, can you be the best? Of course you can. Then why are you still questioning your ability to do it? The quick answer, because at some point you made something simple into something complicated and you stopped trusting yourself.
Bang. Yep. No, I that part was, because it's so true. We so overcomplicate things, and we almost like sabotage ourselves, and then we're constantly thinking of these things of thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, and then
it's 100% true. There's so many times that I've taken something so so simple and made it so complicated. And I think because, and I'm kind of putting stuff together in my head as we're talking, because I've started working on my mindset, started looking at different things, there's a lot of things that are starting to become simple because I stopped overthinking it. Stopped thinking, well, I need to do this, 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 this. No, I just do the task, get it done. Like, this is not a complicated setup. This is not a complicated system. This is not a complicated anything. Not it's not complicated. Just get it done. Just do it.
Well, I think also too, and I don't know how much welding experience you had before you started your job, but
School, that was it. Not much.
so think about that, like somebody that's just starting in that field. Like I feel like that can be, at least for myself, right? Even when we did the table, those welds can be very intimidating. I feel like, and the only way to learn is to trust that you're going to do it. And if you're going to jack it up, you're going to jack it up. But you got to just trust in the process that you will be greater at whatever you're attempting to do.
Yeah.
But if you sit there and think, oh, I'm going to mess it up, you're not going to do anything. Well, guess what? You're never going to learn anything. You're never going to advance yourself and be better at whatever you're trying to do.
Goes back into, your whole mindset. Words are powerful.
Yes, they are.
And I'm so excited to continue reading this book.
It's super good. And I think, we're getting to, I think it's in the middle almost. Yeah, almost to the middle. But
it just keeps getting greater.
It really does.
Every chapter.
And I love that this is kind of what we wanted to do, right? I feel like we can get different, because I know that we've got different points on certain things. But I really think that a lot of it, it really hits you right in the face. And I'll be interested to read it again because I know that I'll get something after the fact. But for right now, this chapter was the one that, to me, was like, oh, wow, like you really, when you get to a point where you're not trusting yourself anymore, you're almost like losing yourself and you're not moving in the right direction. And it's funny because you know that stuff.
Yeah.
But it goes back to what he talked about.
Well, and he even says it. He's like, you know this stuff. You already know this stuff. You already know what to do. And when he relates it back to kids, I'm like, and having kids, I'm like, holy shit. Like, you really do. Like, you spend a lot of time trying to teach them. And some of the stuff, I'm like, you do have to teach them the right things to do. And he's not, and what he's saying in there is he's not saying just let them be whatever they want to be, at least the way I understand it. He's not saying let them go. Obviously, you got to teach them they can't steal, they can't, they can't do certain things. But for the most part, let them do their thing. And it's hard as a parent because you're like, man, let's just go to the store and get our stuff done. Like, why are you guys messing around? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like they are doing what their instincts tell them to do. They haven't been taught much different. They haven't been forced or taught much different. And even though you want to teach them to, behave and do this and do that, but at the same point, like, they're doing what their instincts tell them. Mm-hmm. Like, they're just having fun.
Which he says, that's where when parents get involved and read these like books that, and you kind of take that natural instinct away from them, and you really start thinking for them, and then you create a habit of them overthinking things or waiting for somebody else to tell them what to do. And I don't feel like you want to breed that that into the next generation of where they can't think for themselves.
No.
So, but yeah, man, anything else that you feel like we hit? This is a great chapter.
I think, honestly, more than anything, guys, just read the book.
Read the book.
Read the book. We'll give you a little bit about it, but you're never going to understand fully unless you read the book. But
and there's one thing, even this far into the book, there's applicable things you can pick up. Every book you should be able to pick up, and it's not just a read, it's an applicable thing that you can pluck things out to say, I can use this in whatever I'm doing, or to move myself forward. So, and this book in general, I feel like has a lot of nuggets in every single chapter that if you really dive deep and you look at it, you can extract that action and apply it into your life.
Oh, yeah.
So
very easily.
And this one, to me, The action is just trusting more in myself and trusting more in oneself and the decisions that you make. Stop overthinking and trust the gut that you've created over time. Trust your mindset, trust your instincts that you've built over the last, for me, 34 years. And know that that will lead you to the right and move forward with it.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately you have to. And whatever your action is, just take accountability for it, good or bad. I mean, you did what you thought was best. You know, it's like, and I guess we're going to talk a little more because I just thought another point. You know, he talks about you don't need to have a meeting. Like if you're on a business, you don't need to have a meeting to talk about your decision.
Right.
Like make your decision. You need to follow your instincts. Not every decision's going to win. Not every decision's going to cost you millions of dollars. And I mean, ultimately it is what it is, but most of these people, these higher up guys, they didn't get to where they were by not following their instincts, taking risks, and likely losing a lot of money.
Yep. Failing.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we know who they are because they went through all these trials. So
I love it. That's exactly true. I love it, man.
All right, man. Thanks for another great one. I can't wait for the
another
next
good
chapter.
one. Can't wait for the next chapter next week, and we'll reconvene. And guys, seriously, pick up this book, please. If you're one of the people listen to it, like please, even if it's audio for now,
Yeah,
you're right. You can get it on Libby. You can get it on. You go and purchase. It's on Spotify. If you have Spotify, it's free. As long as you're paying for Spotify, you can listen to this book.
I still haven't figured out how to do that, but yes, absolutely, guys, do it. I mean, we have so many people in this world that spend so much time on podcasts and audiobooks and stuff. Just read good shit, listen to good shit. Like, especially if you're wanting to change, start picking up some good books. And this is honestly a great one to start with.
It really is.
This kind of wraps up a bunch of the stuff that we talk about into one and gives you the basics of it all and the way he looks at it. Oh man, it's amazing.
It really is. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you, brother. Another great episode.
Yes, thank you.
We'll catch you guys next week. And yeah, man, have a good one.
You too.
See you guys.